Hey everyone.
Hello!
It's cold out today. Got the heater cranking, plugged in to the building. And
Not our heater.
Not our heater.
Our
This extension cord heater.
Our heater is, we'll talk about that in the next one.
Hi, we're Sarah, Jess, and Oliver. For the past 11 months, we've been living full-time in our converted Sprinter van, Lynn Van Well. We've been traveling the country, exploring beautiful sights, and watching our young pup Ollie grow up. But 11 months is a long time, and it's time to make some changes. This week, we're almost done the electrical,
And then it's blinking!
and we're tackling the BIM.
That is this thing right here.
Thanks for sticking with us through this rebuild. And make sure you subscribe to Uphill Adventure right here on YouTube as well as Instagram.
Hi guys, I can't even talk about this week, so I'm just gonna let Sarah talk about it because she tried to tell me what she was doing and I don't know.
And this week, we are really close to finishing the electrical. Hello! It's a beautiful day here, and wiring is taking shape. We're getting really close to hooking in the batteries one by one to charge them up so that they're fully charged, and then hooking the whole system up together. So here's the progress that's been made. We've got pretty much all of this wiring done except for the BIM. The BIM is going under the seat. I'm waiting on a cord for that, and then we'll get going here. But everything else here, obviously it'll get tidied up, but is wired up, and we're about to start the inverter. This is the bottom of the inverter. Normally it has the big panel on the front. Here, let me show you. All right, so normally it has this panel here, it sits on the front, and you just unscrew it, pop it off. And the first thing that I'm starting with is over here. So you've got AC in and AC out. AC in is for your shore power. AC out goes to your AC panel. So I've got my AC panel here. We've got it's the 3-wire AC line. We've got ferro rods on the end of our hot, neutral, and ground. And all you do is pop them in here. You can twist this guy open. It's not wide enough. Then you go ahead and stick your wire in here with your left hand. So just got them in there and just screwed in with the screwdriver there. The next thing I'm going to hook up is the spot that says battery. We've got negative and positive. You'll notice that there are 2 spots on each, so you can do 2 cords for negative, 2 cords for positive. I didn't know if this was required or not, so I did give Battleborn a call, and they said it is not required to run 2 wires each, so we're just going to be running 1 negative and 1 positive, and we'll do that. Next thing to do, I'm hooking up these batteries one at a time to the system in order for them to fully charge individually. Now, this is not technically required, although it's strongly recommended. It helps improve your battery life overall to get them each up to a full charge before you start, using them or doing anything like that. Now, you could wire the whole unit together and then bring them up to a full charge. But given that we have 5 batteries and it's what Battleborn recommended for this amount of batteries, we're just gonna hook them up one at a time and then get rolling. And lastly, I've gone ahead and ground. If you look down here, here's the ground for the inverter and the ground for the links. Now I've temporarily ground these up here because I do not have my spot drilled in and decided yet as to where we're grounding, but I wanted to ground them right now as we charge up these batteries. Okay, I think we are ready. Oh, this is so exciting. I'm really excited. We've got our battery hooked up here. negative is going to the shunt here and then into the negative bus bar, etc. The positive is going to the fuse and then to the kill switch and then to the top of the links here. We have our MPPT all hooked up, we've got our inverter all hooked up, and the last thing to do is we've got this little fuse here on the back of our solar that turns off our solar input. So I'm gonna click that on. And I saw this light jump on for a second. And then it's blinking. To our BIM we've got plugged in. Saying 13.32. All right, so we're charging. Of course now, here's the sun for the day. That's what happens. I mean, it's not even 2 o'clock, but it's winter time, so hopefully in the next day or two we'll get all of these charged up. We'll just follow the Bluetooth monitor of the batteries and see what their percentage is, and once one reaches full charge, we'll turn everything off. We'll disconnect the battery and connect the next one up. Something else that I worked on this week was doing the BIM. So the way to charge the batteries in the back from the alternator and our starter battery.
That sounds really important.
Well, it is important, yeah. Good morning. Today I'm working on our BIM. So that is this, oh my gosh. These gloves. All right, that is this thing right here. It's the Li-BIM for lithium. It's 225. It connects in 5 different places. You've got ignition, which what that does is ensures that this only works when the car is turned on. Otherwise, it's going to drain your battery all the time. So that's number one. Number two is the ground in here, which gets ground to either the vehicle body itself or to the negative battery. Then you have signal. And I've got this little button here, which seems to be the one that everybody gets. And that allows you to jumpstart your starter battery from your house battery when you're pushing that little button, if you need to, if you've drained your battery. However, something that we are going to talk about later is that I'm hooking up a trickle charge from our Victron Multi Plus to the starter battery, so that when our batteries in the back are full, it's going to charge the starter battery. So hopefully we never run into that problem. You've got your battery coach, which is your house battery in the back. So we've got a 2-aught. I was told by my friend Josh that you don't say 2/0, you say 2-aught. So a 2-aught wire, which I'm still waiting on. So we're going to do everything except for that, going all the way back to our back system back there. And then you've got your battery chassis, which again, I've been told that it is pronounced chassis. So look at all these things that I'm learning. And this one goes to your starter battery, which is right up here through a fuse first. So let's get kicking. So here's where we've at, where I've already started work. Next thing that I'm going to do is take the seat off here. In order to do so, you have to disconnect the negative battery terminal. Otherwise, what happens is when you disconnect the wire harness that's under the seat here, you're gonna get a bunch of error codes next time you turn the van on. So we'll pop the negative off and then take the seat out. She sits. And here we've got our spot that we're working with. And this is the harness that was disconnected, and I did take a picture of this while it was connected to make sure that I put it back in the correct way, because I can only assume that that is important. We got our negative off the battery here, so we should have no problems. The first wire that I'm working on is the ignition. Now I know that a lot of people connect this to the fuse box, which is right inside here. They get an out of fuse, they test to find a fuse that's only on when the ignition is on, and they do it that way. And I was fully prepared to do it that way until I was taking apart the wires from our old alternator charger and noticed that our builder had connected the alternator here to this positive wire, which I assume is feeding, it's feeding our 12 volt cigarette lighter right here. So I figured since this is already here, why not just use that? So we're gonna strip it down, get a spade connector on there, and then just pop in the ignition wire to that. So we've got our spade connector here between our 12 volt ignition line, which is this guy here, running from the ignition switch on the BIM up inside here. And then we've got our power source here, which is only on when the car is turned on, which means that the battery will not drain all the time. The next one I'm working on is the ground wire, which, let's see if I can show you, is this middle one here. It says right above it, ground. And what we've done is we're taking this wire over here and we're gonna pop it right on the negative battery terminal. We're gonna just attach one of these little guys and pop it on. And that's what we're gonna do. And the last of these little connectors down here is the signal switch. So we've got our momentary signal here, and this has two wires connected to it. One is for ground and one is for the signal. It doesn't matter which side they go into. So we'll connect the ground wire here to the same spot our other ground wire is connected. And then we connect the end from the ring terminal here on the BIM into the other side. So we'll go ahead and do that, and I gotta figure out where I want to put this. I think I was thinking about putting it here since we already have this available, but we have a dog who likes to nose things. So maybe that's not the best spot, so we'll see. So we've got our signal hooked up. We've got the positive wire and the ground. I just taped them up because I'm probably overly cautious. And here we are up front. Here's what it looks like. It is not the prettiest thing in the world, but I don't really care. I cut through the metal here and I wanted to protect that metal, and I didn't have Rust-Oleum, or I don't want to spray and wait for it, so I just taped it up, and here's our little switch. The ground goes through here, connected to the ground wire. And the next thing we are doing is the battery chassis. So I'm gonna run a short 2-aught wire from our positive here. It's gonna snake in, oh, where? Oh no, it's not gonna fit through there. I don't wanna run it up there. We'll have to figure that out. It's gonna snake in, and then it's going to this 200 amp fuse. It'll come in one side, out the other side, and then from there we'll hook into the BIM. Here we are. So we've got our positive here on the battery. I did have to grind off some of the lug, as you can see, because it would not fit. So we've got our positive on the battery. What we've done is snake this underneath this, everybody kind of refers to it as the clamshell here. It goes underneath there, it comes in this little gap here and out this side. It was very difficult to do that. It took a lot of pulling and wrestling with the rope. Comes here to this side of our fuse, goes out the other side, and then here. The fuse has a cover which will get popped on, and all of this will get secured down, but I'm not going to do that yet because the last step is the cord from the coach battery, so our batteries in the back, to the BIM. And the problem is I don't have that cord yet. I'm waiting and waiting and waiting for that to come, and what we're going to do is run that under the van. But right now I am going to run our conduit for that and see what else I get up to. So here we are under the van. This little wire bundle, we're going to cut the zip tie and open this up, and this goes into the driver's seat. From here, what would make the most sense, so we're running our conduit so that we can run our 2-aught wire into here from the back. It would make the most sense to just go down this way. But this is our gray water tank, and there's no room. So I think what we're gonna end up doing is coming over here and running it down this way. I have my conduit run. It's coming in right here, and it goes down under the van, comes out right next to that AC there. You can see it. Let's see, right there. And goes all the way down and comes in right here in the driver's seat. So the 2-aught is gonna get run right into here and hook right up to battery coach and go into our Lynx distributor. And the one other thing to do up here now is to run, let's go down here. We have a 12 gauge wire that is gets connected via spade terminal right here, right in this that says trickle charge. This gets connected here. This is optional, but it's something that was recommended to us and something that I am excited to include. Gets connected to the inverter. We'll run through the conduit. We'll run down and out and connect to our starter battery, the positive there. And what this does is trickle charges our starter battery from our solar or shore power if we're plugged in once our batteries here are fully charged. We've got our end of the trickle charge hooked up to the positive here, and we are pretty well set, just waiting that 2-aught.
Friends, we did have one little mishap this week. Yeah, I thought about filming it. I was in such a bad mood. I was so miserable for like a day and a half because, as you will have noted in the video, it's very important to take the negative battery terminal thing, I don't know, take the negative off of the starter battery before you remove the seat. Otherwise, you get an error when you put the seat back in. And the big 2-aught wire did come, and that's what I was waiting for, to run between the starter battery or between the BIM and the Lynx in the back. And so that came, and I was in a big rush to put it in. It was like I had to go somewhere or something, and I only had a certain amount of time, and I really wanted to do it. And it just, like, things kept happening, and it wasn't going as planned. I couldn't get it through the conduit. We had to, like, cut the conduit down, and it was a very hot mess. And on top of all of it, I remembered to remove the negative from the battery terminal, but I didn't do anything to, like, secure it out of the way. And so during all of this, it touched it touched the negative, and then I knew it as soon as, because I heard, like, the little ding for, like, the door open noise, and I was just so mad, because then finished doing everything, plugged the seat in, and of course turn the car on, and we get, like, left console error. Yeah, she knew at the moment the car dinged. She was like, what was that? It's like, no. And then she was just kicking herself for the next 2 days, because then that was just something else we had to fix. So mad. And they have scanners out there, and I know a lot of people in Vanlife have scanners that can remove the error codes that get generated in situations like this, and there was nothing wrong, but it was saying that the airbag and that the seatbelt and all of that is giving me, like, the SRS code, but, like, there was nothing wrong. It was just the sensor issue. And so I looked for a scanner, but I couldn't find any that were for this new of a vehicle. And so we just took it to the Mercedes place. They were able to see us, like, the next day, and spent 40 minutes and $135, and they plugged their little computer in and pushed a button. We're not bitter about it. And our code went away. So everyone out there who's taking your seats off, secure the negative away from, put a
piece of tape or something.
Tape it somewhere, or put the little red cover that goes over the positive, that big red plastic piece, put that in between, which is what I ended up doing afterward, which didn't even matter. I could have just reattached it at that point, but anyway. Ugh. Save yourself the trouble. But
it wasn't that big of a
It only cost $135, which I did want to put out there because I was looking online and in the forums and in like the Sprinter source and everything, and everyone's like, it's gonna cost $500 for the Sprinter dealer to fix it and all this stuff. And I don't know, maybe each dealer is different, but it cost $135 for them to take the code away, which is less money than what a scanner would have cost us that had all the things that we needed if it had worked for this vehicle anyway. And I'm gonna try not to let it happen again.
Absolutely. Well, I think that was just one little hiccup in this amazing system, so you've done a great job.
Thank you guys so much for watching. That's it for this video. If you haven't subscribed, please do that. That really helps us out, and we will see you all here, same time, same place, next time.
All right, see you guys later.
Bye.
Sarah has spent the last hour trying to get this panel back in place, and she's so close. Oh, so annoying. I can tell. That's why I'm filming. It's okay. Maybe I can do it.
You helped me do it. You did it, and I helped at the end.
I got a lot of. I don't think that's gonna work, but
I didn't say that.
you were like, oh,
Yeah, I was just like, oh.
It looks beautiful. Who thinks we should leave it just like this?
Looks the best.
Looking like its best self.